My parents called 3 weeks before my wedding day to cancel the venue I'd been saving for, claiming my grandparents were too sick to travel. Family comes first, my mom insisted, while my dad nodded in the background of our video call. That same night, my brother Mike posted an Instagram story showing off his brand new Mustang GT with the caption, "Dreams do come true. Blessed and dear, thanks mom and dad." I just stared at my phone, connecting dots that had been there all along. I didn't scream or cry. Not then. Instead, I took screenshots, closed the apps, and made myself a cup of tea. When Alex found me an hour later, I was calmly making a list. "They have no idea what's coming," I whispered, showing him the screenshots. "None at all." Updated. "Hey everyone, thank you for all the support on this post. I never expected this to blow up overnight. I'm reading all your comments while finalizing our new wedding plans. Would you have immediately confronted your family if you were in my shoes, or taken the strategic approach like I did? I should have seen this coming years ago. The pattern was always there, clear as day. But I kept making excuses. When I was 12, my parents used my college fund to bail Mike out after he crashed their car. "He needs help now. You have years to save for college," Mom explained. I started babysitting at 13, then worked all through high school while Mike pursued his artistic talents with expensive equipment our parents happily provided. When I got accepted to business school, I took out loans. When Mike dropped out of community college to find himself, our parents funded his 6-month road trip. My wedding to Alex was supposed to be modest but meaningful. We'd been saving for a year, and my parents had promised to help with the venue, an historic garden that required booking 15 months in advance. They'd written the deposit check in front of me, made a show of calling to reserve the date, even teared up when the date was confirmed. Meanwhile, I was helping them too. After watching them struggle with rent increases, Alex and I had decided to help them with a down payment on a small house after our wedding. We'd already set aside $40,000, had meetings with a realtor, and were just waiting to finalize everything after returning from our honeymoon. Each month leading up to the wedding, there was a new excuse for not transferring the venue money. Dad's overtime got cut, Mom needed dental work, the car needed repairs. I believed them each time, covered the payments myself, stretched our budget thinner. Family supports each other, I reminded myself, while ignoring how that support only seemed to flow in one direction. The day after discovering Mike's new car, I sat in my home office staring at our family's photo album. Every milestone, every achievement of mine was marked by partial attendance or minimal acknowledgement from my parents. My high school graduation, they left early for Mike's band practice. My college graduation, they complained about the long ceremony. My engagement dinner, they spent most of it showing everyone pictures of Mike's latest art project. The evidence had always been there, preserved in awkward photos and half-hearted smiles. That was the moment something inside me finally clicked. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just done. "I'm not confronting them," I told Alex that night. "I'm not giving them the satisfaction of my reaction. I'm just going to quietly disentangle our lives." He squeezed my hand, understanding immediately. "What's the plan?" he asked. I smiled for the first time in days. "We're still getting married in 3 weeks, just not where they think, and not with them present." Updated. Your responses are incredible. So many of you have shared similar experiences with family favoritism. I've been organizing all our financial records while reading your comments. For those asking about the house money, yes, my parents knew about it. And no, they had no legal claim to it. Should I feel guilty about what I'm about to do? That night, I made 3 important calls. First, to my best friend Rachel, who happened to work at a beautiful lakeside restaurant with a private event space. Second, to my dad's sister, Aunt Celia, who had always seen through the family's dynamic. Third, to our bank, to secure the funds we'd set aside for my parents' house. By morning, we had a new venue, a supportive ally, and complete control over our finances. Over the next week, I methodically redirected my life. I changed my address on all important documents, moved my personal items from my parents' house while they were at work, and quietly removed myself from all family financial entanglements. I canceled the joint cell phone plan I'd been paying for since college, removed myself as a co-signer on Mike's apartment lease, and stopped the automatic transfers to my parents' emergency fund. Through it all, I maintained my normal communication. With them, brief texts about wedding postponement logistics, agreement with their excuses about the sick relatives. Not once did I mention Mike's car. Our new wedding plans came together beautifully. Rachel's restaurant overlooked the same lake as the original garden venue, but offered an intimate indoor-outdoor space perfect for our 50 closest friends. Aunt Celia brought my grandmother's vintage jewelry for me to wear. She'd want you to have these, regardless of what your parents claim about her health. My coworkers, seeing my determination, pitched in to help with decorations and music. Alex's family embraced the change with loving support. Perhaps most surprisingly, distant relatives and family friends began reaching out. Apparently, Aunt Celia had been making calls. "I've watched them favor Mike over you for 20 years, she told me over coffee. "Everyone has. Some of us have tried to say something, but your parents always had excuses. It's time people chose sides. By the wedding weekend, we had nearly the same guest count as originally planned, just with a notable absence of immediate family. The morning of our rescheduled wedding, my phone buzzed with a text from Mom. "Just checking in, sweetie. Grandma's feeling a bit better, but still not travel ready. We're thinking maybe Christmas would be a beautiful time for a wedding. Mike has some exciting art opportunities coming up in the fall anyway, so winter would be better for everyone." I didn't respond, just slipped my phone into my bag and finished my makeup. 3 hours later, I walked down a petal-strewn aisle toward Alex, surrounded by people who actually wanted to be there. Our wedding was everything we'd wanted. Intimate, joyful, full of personal touches. The restaurant's chef created a custom menu based on dishes from our first dates. Friends gave heartfelt toasts. Aunt Celia cried when we thanked her during our vows. When the local newspaper photographer showed up, the restaurant had recently been featured in a Hidden Gems article. We happily posed for pictures on the lakeside deck, sharing our story of how the venue had been a wonderful last-minute discovery. I didn't check my phone until the next morning, as Alex and I packed for our honeymoon, upgraded from a weekend getaway to a 2-week European tour. Courtesy of the house fund redirection, I had 27 missed calls, 43 text messages, and 19 voicemails, all from my immediate family. The newspaper article had gone online with the headline, "Local couple enjoys intimate lakeside wedding, complete with pictures and our full names. How could you do this?" My mother's first text read, timestamped just an hour after the article posted, "We're your family. You got married without us?" From my father. "Call us immediately." From Mike. WTF. "Sis, uncool. Also, can you send me your portion of this month's family phone plan?" I couldn't help but laugh at the last one. He still didn't realize the plan had been canceled a week ago. I silenced my phone, kissed my husband, and boarded our flight to Paris. We'd deal with the fallout when we returned, but for now, we had croissants to eat and memories to make. When we returned from our honeymoon, tanned and happy, the situation had escalated. My parents had discovered all the financial separations, the phone plan, the lease, the transfers. Mike's car had been repossessed after he missed 2 payments he'd apparently expected me to make. "Mom and Dad said you'd help with the payments since they helped with the down payment," he'd texted halfway through our trip. "This is your fault." The most dramatic discovery, though, was clearly about the house money. My parents had gone so far as to contact a lawyer, who had fortunately informed them that verbal discussions about helping with a house purchase did not constitute a legal obligation. They'd also shown up at our apartment 3 times, each visit documented by our building's security system after I'd called ahead to warn management not to let them up. The confrontation, when it finally happened, was almost anticlimactic. We agreed to meet at a coffee shop, neutral territory with witnesses. They arrived looking simultaneously furious and smug, the latter fading quickly when they realized we weren't intimidated. "You deliberately deceived us," my mother began, her voice a forced whisper. "Getting married behind our backs, embarrassing us in front of everyone. What were you thinking?" "I was thinking that my fiancé and I wanted to get married on our chosen date," I replied calmly. "The venue changed, but our commitment didn't. But we told you your grandparents were sick." "Funny, I spoke to Grandma the day before the wedding. She sounded perfectly healthy and very confused about why she wasn't invited." My father jumped in. "You had no right to make these financial changes without discussing them with us first. We were counting on that house money. We've already started looking at properties. Just like I was counting on the venue money you promised, the money that somehow found its way into Mike's new Mustang." The flash of guilt across both their faces confirmed everything. Mike, unsurprisingly, went straight to victim mode. "My car got repossessed because of you," he accused, leaning across the table. "You know I needed that car for my image. How am I supposed to network in the art world without proper transportation?" "The same way I got through college without your support," I answered. "Hard work, careful planning, and realistic expectations." "We've always supported both our children equally," my mother insisted, though her voice lacked conviction. "Really? Let's review. Mike's education, funded. Mine. Loans. Mike's hobbies. Encouraged with equipment and lessons. Mine. Termed distractions from academics. Mike's career. Subsidized despite no results. Mine. Accomplished entirely. Without your help, Mike's apartment, co-signed by me at your insistence. My wedding venue, promised then diverted to Mike's car." "You're twisting things," my father said weakly. Alex, who had been quietly observing, finally spoke. "We have bank statements, text messages, and years of documented patterns that say otherwise. We're not here to argue about the past. We're here to establish boundaries for the future." My mother's expression changed to one I recognized. The manipulation was coming. "Boundaries? We're family. There are no boundaries in family." "There are now," I said, sliding a piece of paper across the table. "This is our new contact policy. We'll see you at major family gatherings. We won't be contributing financially to anything. We won't be discussing our financial situation with you, and we won't be responding to guilt trips. But what about the house? My father asked, still focused on the money. That opportunity has passed, Alex said firmly. Those funds have been reallocated. To what? Mike demanded. To our future, I answered. Something you've all been borrowing against for years. As we stood to leave, my mother grabbed my arm. You can't just abandon your family like this. What will people think? The same question she'd asked when I'd chosen a state university over the more prestigious but unaffordable private college she'd preferred. The same concern that had dominated so many family decisions. Appearances. Over substance. They'll think I finally grew up, I said, gently removing her hand. And put my marriage ahead of a family that never put me first. 2 years have passed since that coffee shop conversation. Alex and I used part of the house fund to start a financial consulting business, specializing in helping young professionals establish healthy boundaries with family finances. The irony isn't lost on us. We've just purchased our first home. A comfortable 3-bedroom with a garden where I grow vegetables and flowers depending on the season. My parents' financial situation has deteriorated, without my regular contributions. They've struggled to maintain their lifestyle and continue supporting Mike's artistic journey. 6 months ago, Mike lost his apartment after I wasn't there to cover his late rent. He moved back home, where he's apparently converted the garage into a studio for his latest venture, custom motorcycles despite having no mechanical experience. Last week, a letter arrived in our mailbox. No email or text this time. A physical letter requiring effort and a stamp. My mother's handwriting. On the envelope, my father's signature beside hers on the letter inside. A carefully crafted appeal detailing unexpected medical expenses, housing insecurity, and family obligation. We're still your parents, the final paragraph read. Family should help family. In times of need, I placed the letter in my office drawer, next to the congratulatory card Aunt Celia sent when we announced our first pregnancy. I won't be responding to their letter. Some lessons need to be learned through experience, rather than explanation. Aunt Celia visits often now. She's excited to be a great aunt and has already knitted 3 baby blankets. You know, she told me during her last visit. Your parents ask about you every time I see them. I think they're finally realizing what they've lost. Maybe they are, but I've finally realized what I've gained. A life without obligation disguised as love, expectations, disguised as support. Alex finds me sometimes, looking at old family photos with a distant expression. He doesn't ask if I regret anything. He knows I don't. Instead, he reminds me of everything we've built together, the family we're creating based on mutual respect and genuine support. The kind of family where no one keeps score, because everyone gives freely. In the end, my canceled wedding venue became the catalyst for the life I was meant to have all along. Sometimes the most painful moments lead to the most necessary changes. The money they diverted to Mike's car ultimately paid for something far more valuable. My freedom from toxic family dynamics. In a way, it was the best wedding gift they could have given me, though they never intended it as such. Updated. Wow, this post continues to resonate with so many of you. Thank you for all your supportive comments and personal stories. I'm now 7 months pregnant with our first child, and these conversations about healthy family dynamics feel more important than ever. Did cutting off toxic family members ultimately bring you peace, or do you still struggle with doubt about your decision?